Tonight on Coyote News, we learn about various measures passing through the South Dakota legislature that may affect students. And we take a look at an event that raised more than $20,000 in the fight against cancer. I'm Michaela Feldman.
And I'm Bailey Millen. South Dakota's ban on same-sex marriage has been struck down, and the Supreme Court will hear the case on a national level this summer. Find out how a member from the Spectrum organization feels about this ongoing case, and learn about a place on campus that can help you with your technological problems.
Plus, both Coyote basketball teams are in the home stretch of the regular season. Find out how students can support the team on their way to the Summit League Championships. And we will take a look at one of the most successful members of the track and field team. But first, the headlines with Heath Nimke.
3 Brooklyn residents were charged today with providing material support to ISIS. 2 of the men were in New York and the other was in Florida. In a complaint filed in federal court, officials say the trio was brought to their attention last summer after they expressed online support for ISIS. If convicted, each person could face up to 15 years in prison. Officials estimate last summer that between 100 and 200 Americans have successfully joined the terrorist group. President Obama vetoed Keystone XL oil pipeline yesterday. The Republican-supported bill would have approved construction of a pipeline connecting Canada's tar sands and Texas Gulf Coast. Obama says he vetoed the bill because of the conflicts with country security, safety, and environment. Republicans say the pipeline would create jobs, increase growth, and help Americans' independence from Mideast energy sources. Former Marine Eddie Ray Roth has been found guilty of shooting and killing former Navy SEAL Chris Kyle and his friend Chad Littlefield. Kyle was the author of the popular American Sniper book, which was recently released as a movie. Roth has been charged with capital murder and sentenced into prison without parole. And those are your headlines.
For most students, planning for each semester's class schedule happens twice a year. Now, a change in academic advising can reduce that number to just once a year. Starting this spring, USD will give students the option of registering for their classes a year in advance, as opposed to doing so for each individual semester. Steve Ward is the director of the Academic and Career Planning Center, and he says there are benefits for planning so far ahead.
Having students think about further in the future about which classes they're going to take will definitely help them figure out their path quicker.
Year-long advising isn't mandatory, so students can still choose to register for classes each semester if they prefer. Ward says this switch will also help the university in determining the demand for classes, which will allow them to add or drop courses ahead of time.
The South Dakota State Legislature has been in session for 7 weeks. Coyote News' Anthony Gosch is live in the muck with College Republican member Josh Jorgensen to talk about bills that may affect students. Anthony?
Thanks, Michaela. This year marks the 90th anniversary of the legislative session in South Dakota. And with that, the legislative session is in full swing. Thank you for being with us. What is your connection to the South Dakota legislature?
Yeah, last year I was an intern with the House Appropriations Committee under Representative Fred Romkema, and this year, I'm just in a couple classes where we go up to Pierre, and I just kind of keep actively involved with what's going on in South Dakota politics.
How does the South Dakota legislature affect students?
Well, this year there was one controversial bill, which was House Bill 1206, which was to allow campus concealed carry, and that ultimately failed, but that will be obviously coming back next year. I think the NRA is going to have a strong push. And then there's another bill, House Bill 1147, which just passed through the House last week, which will increase the amount of money going to the Opportunity Scholarship by $1,500 over 4 years.
Why should students take care of the South Dakota legislature?
Well, I think being involved in politics at any level is a big deal, and I think we have a pretty special system here in South Dakota, unlike a lot of states where we can be actively involved and go and watch the process in Pierre, and it really does affect our everyday lives with bills like I just mentioned, so I think it's a good opportunity to get involved with politics here.
How can students get involved with the politics of South Dakota?
Well, there's 2 groups on campus. There's the College Republicans and there's College Democrats, and they're always doing things on campus to go out and support different legislators and things like that. And then also just there's the Political Science Department, which always does a good job of getting interns up to Pierre.
Can you tell us more about the internship program?
The internship program was, I was in the House Appropriations, so I got to see every aspect come through. But what you essentially do is you just work side by side with the legislators and just help them with daily tasks.
Thank you so much. With 5 weeks left of the South Dakota legislature, with 5 weeks left of the South Dakota legislature, this year marks the 90th year. Back to you, Bailey.
Thanks, Anthony. Have you or a loved one been impacted by cancer? As Coyote News' Erica Arpan found out, one campus organization brought hundreds of people to the Dakota Dome to celebrate and remember those lives affected by the disease.
Colleges Against Cancer united almost 300 people at its annual Relay for Life. Survivors, caregivers, and volunteers all took part in the walk. Survivors were given purple t-shirts and torches to symbolize their victory. Luminaries are displayed for those who have passed on or are still fighting. For years, students, faculty, and community members have been fighting cancer one lap at a time. $12,000 was this year's fundraising goal, and it was surpassed before the relay started. CAC President Emily Jansen says they made exceeding last year's $10,000 their goal for this year.
Before the event actually started, we had $14,000 from fundraising and sponsorship and everything. So we had exceeded our goal, so we are just excited to see what the total is at the end of the day.
Families shared stories of death as recent as a week ago.
She actually passed away just this last Monday.
Becky Ryder is a breast cancer survivor. She says everyone has a part to play in fighting cancer.
You never know when it's going to be you or one of your loved ones, so establishing a network of support and keeping awareness high.
Throughout the relay, participants had the opportunity of getting their face painted, coloring, and watching the USD dance team perform. For the Yote Report, I'm Erica Arpan.
This year, the Clay County USD Relay for Life raised more than $20,000 for the American Cancer Society.
Coming up after the break, find out where students can go on campus to get help with their technology-related problems. And tie-dyeing, free food, and photo booths were just some of the things presented at this semester's Muck Madness. Stay with us.
Your fire attack, 1926.
Earlier this year, a judge struck down South Dakota's ban on same-sex marriages, and the discussion is continuing in states throughout the country. Although same-sex marriages can't take place in the state yet, a member of the Spectrum organization on campus says she's optimistic about the future.
For me, it's exciting. For a lot of people who, are thinking eventually of getting married, it's exciting. We're from South Dakota because it's, this is where we grew up. This is our home.
Catlett says she's excited for the Supreme Court to take up the case this summer, but she's surprised South Dakota's ban was struck down sooner than other states.
It's crazy that we're not the very last for once. We're getting there, but we're still not first. So, but we're getting there, and that's the exciting part, is that attitudes and things are changing.
The Supreme Court ruling on same-sex marriage is expected this summer.
There's more than 1,700 National Radio Shack stores closing, including 9 in South Dakota. The closest one was in Yankton, and now students may be wondering where to find technology help. Workers at the Technology Help Desk in the ID Weeks library assist students with technical issues. They'll help if a video's not playing, a browser's not opening, or there's a hardware issue with your computer. Technicians certified with Apple and HP are able to offer discounted rates. With other computers, they'll check your warranty and call the company to ask how they can help. Virus removals are free and at the help desk, and there's free virus protection on the MyUSD portal. They also provide technical equipment for checkout, including computers, projectors, and other accessories. The help desk has worked on more than 2,800 computers since the beginning of the fall semester, and they work quickly. Workers at the desk can get 84% of computers back to their owners within 1 business day or less. Cotton candy, photo booths, and henna tattoos. All of these activities were at the annual Muck Madness event on Friday. As I found out, each semester brings a set of new activities. Students gathered in the Munster University Center to participate in this semester's Muck Madness. Carnival was chosen as a theme, and students had their names drawn for a variety of prizes. John Weatherington, who was a first-time attendee, explains how he heard about the event.
One of my friends got a Snapchat that said there was free cotton candy, and so we came, and then I found the corn dogs, and they're over getting free cotton candy.
Activities such as tie-dye were featured at this semester's Muck Madness. Although events are not usually brought back each semester, tie-dyeing is a student favorite and is usually seen at each semester's event. Madison Roberts helped to coordinate all of the activities for Muck Madness.
We wanted to do just a big event for students to come and just enjoy themselves on a late night weekend and not have to go do, other sorts of things. Something that even freshmen can come do.
Along with the corn dogs, cotton candy was a crowd favorite food. A photo booth was also featured at the event. Students were encouraged to grab a prop and strike a pose. Henna tattoos were one of the most popular events at this semester's Muck Madness. Some students came in with a specific idea of the tattoo they wanted, while others told the 2 artists to surprise them. Muck Madness is designed for students to meet people and have a good time outside of school.
Coming up after the break, the university brings an artistic event to the Muck, and find out more about a rock climbing competition that brought students and community members to the Wellness Center this weekend. Stay with us.
USD's Media and Journalism Department can be seen and heard all over campus. Faculty members know that hands-on experience now is the key to success after college. Get professional experience by participating in one of the many practicums offered. Have your voice heard on the radio. Edit a promo for a campus organization. Investigate breaking news stories for a weekly newspaper. Design advertisements for local businesses. Get involved with the Media and Journalism Department at USD and start your future now.
Students and Vermilion residents reached to new heights in USD's climbing competition last weekend. Saturday kicked off the collegiate climbing series for the Midwest region. Climbers from USD, SDSU, Kansas State, Morningside College, the University of Minnesota, and the University of Nebraska-Lincoln and Omaha competed in the event. More than 70 people signed up for the competition. Judges recognized the top 3 men and women from each category, including beginner, intermediate, advanced, and collegiate climbing series. 2 people from USD placed in the top 5 for the men's collegiate section. Matthew Schlimgin and Michael Schaub finished 3rd and 4th respectively. There are 3 more competitions this season, leading up to the regional competition in Minneapolis in March.
A new event on campus is allowing students to channel their inner artist. Once a month in the Muck, Mocktails and Canvas allow students to partake in what the event planner calls expressive therapy.
Art is a good way to kind of relieve stress, and it's a good way to express yourself creatively. A lot of students in school probably don't get to experience that if they're not an art student. So I think it's fun to just kind of paint and relax and not have to worry about school for a little while.
About 20 students are able to participate in each month's event.
I liked how she showed you how to do it, and then you did it yourself, and then she could help you when you messed up.
The supplies for this event are provided by Student Services. Contact Madison Roberts through her Coyote student email to take part. With all of the cold weather Vermilion has been having lately, Andy Hartman reminds us that we're in the Midwest, and she doesn't think it's acceptable to complain quite yet.
It's winter, which means what? It's cold, which means what? It means if you go on any form of social media, you are going to be bombarded with complaints about how cold it is. Unless you're experiencing your first winter in the Midwest, you should not be complaining. You knew what was coming. Cold temperatures are not a new concept. Are you going to freak out when you see a cloud? Of course not. Clouds are totally common. The only reason anyone would freak out over a cloud would be if that cloud happened to be shaped like Darth Vader or something, because that's just awesome. Clouds are a part of nature, just like cold temperatures and winter are a part of nature. You don't need to complain about winter. It's right on track. There's no reason for you to be saying how sick you are of the cold. It's February. February isn't exactly known for its picnic weather. February is cold. This isn't Florida. It's not going to be over 35 degrees most days. I don't want to sound harsh, but if you hate the cold weather so much, don't live here. You're allowed to complain about the cold towards the end of March, but until then, you'd better get used to being frozen. For Coyote Blog, I'm Andy Hartman.
Thanks, Andy. Coming up next, the Coyote basketball teams are in the home stretch of the regular season. We talk about the importance of student attendance at this week's games, and a look at one of the track and field team's most successful athletes so far this season. Stay with us.
Your fire attack. Your fire attack. 1926.
Tonight on Coyote Sports, the USD men's and women's basketball teams finish out their regular seasons at home this weekend. And in the Bauer Beat, I give you my thoughts on a recently announced boxing super fight. I'm Brian Noel.
And I'm Taylor Fouth. The track and field team continues to break records at the Dakota Dome, and Coyote News' Levi Goots is live with USD's Director, Athletic Marketing and Promotions to discuss the importance of student attendance at this week's games. First, the headlines. Heath?
ESPN commentator Keith Olbermann has been suspended from hosting his own TV show for the week, following a Twitter exchange he had with Penn State University fans over the Thawne Cancer fundraising event. In the exchange, Olbermann called the Penn State students pitiful. Olbermann's been critical over the Penn State past for their handling of the Jerry Sandusky scandal. Olbermann's apologized for his actions and accepted his punishment. Seattle Seahawks All-Pro safety Earl Thomas is expected to miss 6 to 8 months after undergoing surgery yesterday to repair a torn lumbar separation in his left shoulder. Thomas injured the shoulder in the NFC Championship game against Green Bay, but still played in the Super Bowl 2 weeks later. He's expected to be back in the beginning of the 2015 NFL season. Tonight is the first game Kevin Garnett will play with the Minnesota Timberwolves after being acquired in a trade last week. Garnett spent his first 12 seasons in the NBA with the Timberwolves, then was traded in 2007 to Boston as a part of a rebuilding process. Despite not playing for Minnesota for the past 8 years, Garnett remains the all-time franchise leader in games played, points, and rebounds. And those are your headlines.
Thanks, Heath. The Coyote women's 6-game winning streak was snapped on Saturday as they lost to rival SDSU 77-67 in Brookings. Nicole Seekamp led the Coyotes with 18 points, and Bridget Arns added 12 in the loss. Despite losing, USD remains 1 game in front of the Jackrabbits for first place in the Summit League standings. The Coyotes finished the regular season with 2 home games this week as they take on IUPUI tomorrow night and Western Illinois on Saturday. The Coyotes are attempting to win their first regular season Summit League title in program history. The Coyote men's basketball team defeated IUPUI 77-62 on Saturday to win their 4th game in a row. USD avenged an earlier 15-point loss against the Jaguars in January. Tyler Larson notched his 10th double-double of the season, including scoring 21 points for the Coyotes, and Trey Burnett added 12 in the win.
We had a chip on our shoulder. They, like you said, they bullied us at their house. So we were like, we're not going to let it happen. And, you know, we got a lot of honor and pride in not letting any team sweep us.
The men play Denver tonight at the Dome and host rival SDSU on Saturday to close out the regular season. The Coyotes are running out of number 1 but can still finish as high as 3rd place. They're trying to position themselves well for the upcoming conference tournament.
Both Coyote basketball teams have a big week ahead of them in the final stretch of the regular season. Coyote News' Levi Goots is live in the muck with the USD's Director of Athletic Marketing and Promotions, Joe Tenti, to talk about the importance of student participation at upcoming event games. Levi?
Thanks, Taylor. Both the men's and the women's basketball team have a chance to make it to the Summit League tournament, and we're going to talk about it from the marketing side. Thank you so much for joining us. So what does the marketing department do for Coyote Athletics?
Well, I mean, we're raising awareness for the games, trying to get the students to get out there, trying to raise revenue, just trying to keep the department afloat from an attendance and revenue standpoint.
Very good. And what is it like when the teams are making it to big games like this, you know, getting close to the Summit League Championship? How is that like for the marketing department?
It makes our jobs a lot easier. You know, winning kind of sells itself, but obviously, you know, our job is to keep them, you know, keep people at the games when the team's not doing as well, but also to help elevate it when they're having good games like they are now.
Very good. And how can you say that student attendance infects your job? You know, how would you say that helps or hurts?
We spend a lot of time on students. I think that, you know, student attendance is a key part of the game. They are kind of the base which the crowd reacts to them. So, you know, we might have a lot of people from Vermilion in the stands, but the students kind of set the tone for how intimidating the atmosphere is going to be and how easy it's going to be for our opponents to, you know, set up their offense and get into a groove during the game.
Very good. And you've got, you know, 4 games in the next few days. What is that like on you guys at the department?
It's huge. You know, we've got a men's game tonight against Denver, women tomorrow against IPUI, and then a big doubleheader on Saturday. Women play Western Illinois, men play South Dakota State. The men still have a chance to get as high as 3rd. Women can win the conference tomorrow. So 4 huge games. Everyone should come out and see them.
Thank you so much. That was Joe Tenti talking with us about the marketing side of Coyote Athletics. Live from the muck, I'm Levi Goots.
Thanks, Levi. The USD track and field team will be traveling to Fargo this weekend for the Summit League Championship. However, one Coyote traveled all the way from Jamaica just to be at USD. Tavaski Lewin is a junior from Montego Bay, Jamaica. He joined the track and field team last year and has competed in the long jump and 60-meter hurdles. Lewin holds USD's record for indoor hurdles and ties for 11th fastest time in the nation. Yeah, I said nation. He's also won Summit League Athlete of the Week multiple times. However, Lewin says that records aren't his main focus.
My goals in track is be the best that I can, you know, train as hard, working hard as everybody else, just staying focused and just running hard.
Lewin won the 60-meter hurdles in the Dakota Dome last week and will travel with the rest of the team to Fargo on Friday.
Last weekend, the Coyotes hosted the USD Twilight Track Meet in the Dakota Dome, and the team even broke some school records along the way. The Coyotes were successful in many events throughout the meet, especially in the men's shot put. Senior Cody Snyder threw a personal best of 61 feet and 2 1/4 inches. With that mark, Snyder broke a school record, state, and Dakota Dome record. South Dakota's men won the 4x400 meter relay, and they swept both open 400s. Freshman Brooke Ireland ran a new best time of 57.90 to win the women's 400. Kenya Walter broke a 25-year-old record in the triple jump with the mark of 43.4 1/2. The Coyotes took home 13 wins from the meet. The Coyote track and field teams will compete at the Summit League Championships this weekend in Fargo. In this week's Bowerby, Brandon is filling in for Sean, and he explains how one sport is making a comeback.
Boxing hasn't mattered to most people since Mike Tyson bit off Evander Holyfield's ear back in 1997. Well, now boxing finally has a match that most casual fans can get excited about, as Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Manny Pacquiao have agreed to fight in May. Both are considered the top 2 pound-for-pound fighters in the world, and I know I'm excited to finally get to see these two go at it. But at the same time, this fight should have happened a few years ago when both Mayweather and Pacquiao were closer to their prime. I mean, Pacquiao is 36 now, and Mayweather 37, hardly a prime age for boxers. Also, had these two fought before 2012, Pacquiao wouldn't have had 2 major losses, including a knockout on his resume. It's sad that management and money were the key factors as to why this fight didn't happen sooner, and it cost boxing big time. Boxing needs to do what the UFC does and consistently get its top fighters to face each other. Hopefully, this is the first step for boxing in that direction. As for the fight itself, I'm not a betting man, but if I had money, I would go with Money Mayweather every time on it. And that's the Bauer Beat.
Thanks, Brandon. Coming up next, this week's edition of Coyote Shorts show us the consequences of skipping class. Stay tuned.
The Latino Student Organization is a all-inclusive student organization that focuses on bringing in Latino culture to University of South Dakota. We do fiestas, we do piñata parties. We also just hold potlucks where we cook and we just share Latino culture and food and just mingle.
At the beginning of each year, people make various resolutions to eat healthier, go to the gym more, or spend more time with family. But oftentimes, these plans don't hold up.
On this week's Out and About, we asked students if they made a New Year's resolution and if they're sticking to it.
No, because I do not believe in New Year's resolutions because no one ever follows them.
I did not make one.
Why not?
I guess it really wasn't that important to me.
I did, in the sense that I would eat healthier and I guess work more, but I didn't work more, but I'm still eating healthier.
I just hope to enjoy my new year and to just make the best of it.
I did make a New Year's resolution, and that was to study every day, and I did not follow that.
No, because I'm already perfect, so I didn't need to improve anything.
I did, yeah. I decided I was going to quit smoking, and so far so good on that. I've been following it for since the new year, basically, and just because I'm trying to better my health and feel better.
Yes, I did make a New Year's resolution, and it was to try and be more perfect than I already am. And no, I haven't, because I'm always perfect.
Although some students prefer to sleep in or watch a movie instead of attending a class, skipping is a route that doesn't always pay off.
On this week's edition of Coyote Shorts, we find out the consequences for one USD student.
So what kind of dinosaur is Yoshi? Is he a dinosaur?
He's a velociraptor. He's obviously a mini T-Rex.
Which one's Yodi?
Oh, he's the green character.
Obviously. Hey, don't you have astronomy at 2?
I can't leave now. I'm about to win.
Well, you better have a pretty good excuse because you've already cut 4 times.
Can't stop, won't stop.
You could say you've got the flu.
Nah, I've already used that excuse twice.
You could say there was a fire in your kitchen.
Diarrhea.
All right, done. Wait, no. Oh, man.
A new edition of the Volant Hit newsstands today. Pick up a copy to read about the new home for the university's Alumni Association and find out how the university is implementing gender-neutral housing next fall.
That's all for Coyote News. Don't forget to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter and Instagram.
And if you have a story idea you'd like to share, email it to us at kyotnews@usd.edu. Have a great night. We'll see you next time.